Hello, Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome back to my channel of inspiring stories. Guys, like always, I am back with another guest with another inspiring story to move us all, to inspire us all. I hope you are all doing absolutely phenomenal and you are ready to dive in into a deeper conversation. Guys, I am just waiting for my guests to come in and we will go live and we will talk and we will inspire and we will help each other through our conversation. Let me bring you in and let us start our conversation. I hope you are all safe and taking care of yourself. Guys, let me just bring her in and we will take it from there. Give me a second. We're just connecting. I hope you all are doing fine, taking care of yourself. And while I wait for her to join me, guys, I want to share something with you. I had a phenomenal 1 week with Tony Robbins challenge. And guys, one of the very important things that I learned from him is, oh, there she is. She is in the house. Let me bring her in. I think it's connecting with her. So, excuse me. Oh, let me bring her back in. There we go.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful, doing wonderful. Sorry, technology is so, it's definitely
I
something to get used to.
I know, right? So before we dive in into our conversation, I just want you to do a brief introduction about yourself.
Yeah, Brianna Latanzi. I was born in Portland, Oregon. I moved to Central Oregon at the age of about 7, and living in the high desert compared to city has just been wonderful. And I went through a lot of stuff as a young girl and I learned a lot, not to get like too big on everything. But I attended different seminars in UPWs and um, strategic intervention life coaching that completely changed my life. And I went from quitting a job, making 10 grand after I quit my job, and then building a business during a pandemic, two of them actually. And so it's been
Woohoo!
it's been a wild ride.
Wow, wow, that's a story to tell. For those of you listening in right here, I met her just before she came in. I was talking about the Tony Robbins channel. I met her there. I know a bit about her story, and I was so inspired that I thought that I should bring her in and let the world know about her. So, so, so come on, tell me. What is, you talked about having some rough patches earlier in your life. Let's start with there.
Yeah, so as a young girl, I came from a home that was a big family, but a lot of alcohol and pill abuse with the pill pandemic. And growing up with a family that had so much love, has so much love, and was able to be torn away from each other due to alcohol, gambling, addiction in general. Um, when we moved from Portland, Oregon. My father was a finance manager for car sales, and he was making like 20K a month, doing really well back then. Car sales is not like that anymore. But it
I
was just
know.
absolutely, I tried it. It doesn't work. I'm not that type of person.
Right, right. I feel you there.
It takes a, yeah, it takes a certain personality type, which isn't bad nor, indifferent.
Right, right,
Um,
exactly.
and and so when we moved from Portland, Oregon to Bend, Oregon, the addiction got worse within my family, and my mother actually died and came back to life, thank goodness, in 2010. She died Christmas Eve and came back to life Christmas Day, in December, yeah, of 2010. And to go through, having doctors tell me, me and my brother were just holding on to each other, hoping, is this going to be the last time we see our mother, as we're watching through the tiny window of the door. And that day was the day that I realized that life is so important. Granted, I didn't follow a great path after that. I fell into a depression. I was a runaway during my parents' divorce, and I went back to Portland actually, and ran loose in the city of Portland, not doing anything bad, just enjoying nature, not going to school. you know, a kid's dream. And I wasn't surrounded by any negativity. I was surrounded by what you would call my hippie friends, because we're in Oregon. Everybody believes in the trees and the flowers and how Mother Nature like really provides for us. And so I took a whole different type of spiritual path during that. And so from
Wow.
the ages of 14 to about 16,
Wow.
I learned a lot. We came together. We had, me and my, like, it was about six of us friends. We were all the same age. We got an apartment with one of their family members, and we all provided a little, like, did our little, jobs, the little temporary jobs. And we'd always come back and we'd make dinner together. We'd have a little feast. We'd take care of each other. And so it really built a really good foundation for my love and my compassion for others and my friends and even acquaintances.
Mm.
And no,
Right.
kitty. And so from there, when I was 16 and I was about a little later than 16, little end of 16 years old, I ended up being pregnant with a beautiful baby boy. And the father and me, it was a blessing in disguise. And so my son Aiden, who is 8 now, and just the most loving, caring, compassionate young man, we learned, life takes a turn, we handle it. And, being able to sit here now, and me and the father, we're not together, but we're such good co-parents. We love each other from the deepest depths of each other, and I have a wonderful man. He has a wonderful wife, and we really work really well to raise the children. And so from there, I became, I started studying, went to cosmetology school, which I dropped out of because it wasn't, I definitely didn't like it. So I was like, hey, nothing's going to hold me here. I'm going to go try out something different. And so
Right.
and then and so I started going into the range of plant medicine. So with the essential oils and aromatherapy and different herbs and remedies to be able to heal the body. And so now I started at, the age of, I would say, so I raised my son at home for a couple years and did the college. And so about at 19 years old, I decided to get even more involved in plant medicine and how we can help those who are suffering from addiction and cancer. And so I started finding Joe Dispenza stuff. I found Tony Robbins stuff, which I was still kind of didn't really know much about him and stuff. It was still early, and I started really tapping into quantum physics, and then I started tapping into all the naturopathic ways of healing. Since, I had, when this was back a couple of years ago, because I fell into a deep depression a little bit before the pandemic happened due to domestic violence that I was dealing with my second son's father. Um, and this is when I really took a turn and I realized too that addiction can be, stemmed from, childhood of another adult. And, the father of my child, of my youngest, who's 2 now and doing amazing, the IV use of drugs, sometimes when people, that's probably the worst way to get yourself hooked. And, when you realize, sometimes there is always a way to turn it around, but it's all in your mind. If somebody goes, if people go,
Absolutely.
I'm a victim, I can't get out
Mm-hmm.
of this, or I can't, they're self-sabotaging themselves, and people can be there for them. And I've learned this many times, and even as myself overcoming my own addiction, because it runs genetically in my family, doesn't mean I don't label myself an addict. This is what I want people to understand is, don't label yourself an addict. You just have a gene, that you just got to be a bit more cautious on what you do and what you put in your focus on, right? And so I feel like a lot of people, they label themselves, oh, I'm an addict. Well, you're not an addict, you just have a gene that makes you kind of go, hey, I'd rather feel good than because what shapes
Right.
our decisions,
Right.
pain or pleasure,
Right.
so
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right. And so after
Mm-hmm.
that, I fell, and then the prescriber gave, and I hated pills. I hate pills and pharmaceuticals in general. I don't even take ibuprofen. I'll either rub Deep Blue or an essential oil on my knee, to be able to relieve pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I fell into taking lithium and hydroxyzine, which was they diagnosed me moderate bipolar. They diagnosed me as depression, which I'm not my moderate bipolarism. I don't have any other things. He diagnosed me on video chat in a little town for 7 minutes. He told me I had all these things, and I was like, okay. Because I've been through, like, when I took myself into the ER for my depression and stuff, and because I knew that either it was going to be bad to where I would take my own life. And this was 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And I had a lot of stuff going good. I had all this stuff, but domestic violence can really, it might not happen in the moment that it's happening, but aftermath can really take a toll. Abuse in general, I think,
Mm-hmm.
stemming from childhood going on up, sometimes we suppress all those emotions and we think that we should be just, suppress it, put it away, and we'll come back to it later. Dealing with the emotions is the best thing that you could do, because you won't end up like me, where, 2.5 years ago, I, I noticed I hit a break, and I couldn't get out of it. And I'm a really positive go lucky person. Like, if you like, I'm constantly on a positive vibing, just little energy ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I took myself in for the suicide wing, I told him, hey, I need this. Like, I feel like an elephant's on my chest. I really need, I need help, whatever it is. I just need help to calm down, or whatever it might be. Well, the ER here in Redmond, Oregon, decided to be in a lobby with other people. And doctors were walking past me, nurses were walking past me, and I'm rocking back and forth, just trying to calm myself, doing breath work, right? And my roommate, Andrea, she was trying to calm me down and kind of talking to people. Hey, I'm feeling bad because now I'm
Yeah.
feeling like, I don't want other people who are suffering right now to be able to worry about me. So I'm trying to keep it cool and
Mm-hmm.
suppressing the emotions even more. And so I finally go in there and I tell the lady, I was like, look, I'm not on drugs. I'm not trying to get drugs. I want help. I want somebody to work with me. So about 20 minutes later, they send me in. They put me in the suicide wing, which I'm staring at this steel toilet that looks like I'm in jail. Okay, this is the feeling that people get when they are on the brink of suicide. Okay, this is the treatment I'm going to tell you full out, and this is why I know that we need to fix something in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in there, right? And they're like, they're treating me like I'm a drug addict, unfortunately. And I told them, they checked my blood and everything. I had no drugs in my blood. So I'm looking at them. I'm like, well, why are you guys still treating me this way? So they send in this social worker, which was a man, which was worse because I told them my past. And I'm like, okay, so you're sending in somebody who's had domestic violence, and now you're sending a man in front of me. Great.
Mm.
You guys are just following the treatment plan. Great.
Mm.
And I look at my roommate and I'm like, Drea, I don't think they know. I don't really think they are understanding what, they're looking at my chart. They're seeing what I've written and what I've said, but they're doing everything wrong. And the
Right.
social worker, he goes, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, the fact that you guys know that I just went through domestic violence with a male and you're sending in a male, I think maybe you think this is trying to make me feel better or something, but it's not, because I've literally been going through
Mm.
this all morning and you guys have, and then the social worker's arguing with me, right? He's arguing with me. And then the doctor comes in and says, hey, Bree, we need you to take a UA. Great. So the social worker
Mm.
leaves, right? I just told him, I was like, you need to go. I can't stand you right now.
Right,
And
exactly.
he leaves and they come in, they bring my UA. I go pee in the toilet, right? I bring the UA out. I sit it down because I'm thinking, they're going to come back and they're going to take care of it. I tell them, hey, I did it for you guys. 30 minutes I'm staring at this. 30 minutes as I'm already
Mm.
going through this break, right? And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Now I see why people they don't even think to go to a hospital to get help, because they just
Mm.
subside that, like, oh, if you're not this way, if you're not, and this is when I realized, because that's when I decided, well, I'll save that for after this, but they do all these different things, and the social worker, they 30 minutes later, after I send my roommate out to go and tell them, hey, she's got the UA there for you guys that you guys demanded. And so they take that out of
Mm.
goodness, and then they send the social worker back in. So me and this guy, we're having this wonderful talk about, I'm challenging him, he's challenging me, which upsets me, because I'm challenging him because I'm asking him, do you even know how to do your job? You just told me you've been through everything that I've been through, and you don't know half of the shit. Excuse my language, stuff. You don't know
That's okay.
half of it. I was like, oh no, you don't know half of it. And so and so we're going back in this just terrible situation. And so he gets on the phone with a prescriber, because I told him, I was like, you know what? I just want you to stop talking. Whatever you think is going to help me. I'm at this point where you guys have all made this experience dreadful for me, but obviously I'm still alive, so you guys did something. So I'm sitting there, we're having this conversation. So he calls the prescriber and sets me up an appointment. A couple days later, I go in, I sit down in Madras, Oregon at this, not Best Care, but this little prescriber facility. I mean, this is in the middle of the desert, so it's not the best. So I'm sitting in here, I'm on this video chat with this gentleman in a lab coat, and he's asking me, okay, so how are you feeling? Are you on the brink of suicide? Do you have high highs? Do you have low lows? And I'm like, well, obviously I'm having high highs and low low, or I'm having low lows because I'm having some stress. You guys, I should be seeing a counselor. I should be doing all this. Well, the guy prescribes me 10 milligrams of lithium, right? Stuff that's in batteries. Great. So I'm like, okay. And then he prescribes me hydroxyzine, which is supposed to help you not get into a panic attack, pretty much. And so I'm supposed to take,
Okay,
I was
okay.
supposed to, yeah. So, and lithium was like an antidepressant. Somehow stuff in batteries, I guess, makes you not depressed.
Mm.
Don't really know how
Right.
this works exactly. But
Mm.
so I'm taking these, I'm taking the lithium once a day in the morning, and then I'm taking hydroxyzine, one pill 3 times a day. Well, I'm doing this. My brother calls me up and he goes, hey, Bree, I want you to go to a seminar with me in Miami, Florida. And I'm like, what? And this is in 2019, November of 2019. I'm like, huh, what is this? And he goes, it's just awesome. He didn't really give me much explanation of what UPW was. So I'm this depressed person having no idea. I just know that I'm going to Miami, Florida. And I'm like, okay, this is exciting. We get in. He's
Mm.
a part, my brother's a part of Tony Robbins' crew, at the crew team. And so we're in this house that's just amazingly beautiful. And I mean, this house is just immaculate. A red room. I mean, oh my gosh, I was just like in awe. And then we had like a chef the whole time that was all vegan and just super healthy. Like, oh my, and I was smoking cigarettes and all that stuff before this. So
Mm.
we get there as like, I believe it was like November 7th was the first day. November, I have it right here. I was like, oh yeah, November
All right.
7th. I'm glad I did that. That was ironic. And then, so we're there, and there's a pool, there's food, there's good company. And so we go to day one of UPW, right? And I'm like, all right, everybody seems pretty pumped up. I see people dancing, clapping. I'm like, this is great. And so we go through day one, right? And it was just amazing, amazing. Tony Robbins just delivered more than I ever. And Joseph McClellan, I still talk to him to this day. And the thing is they have, Joseph, for one, he already knows in personal messages and everything. He knows that he has saved my life. He taught me to shake that ass whenever you're sad. He taught me that, completely, there's no more, this should be a should, it should be a must, and on day 3 of Joseph saying that, I have it on video. I'll have to get it all up. I had like no voice. I had this video of me, no voice, probably on day 3, and I'm dumping out all the pills in the toilet, which I felt bad. I was like, oh gosh, this is bad. Somebody's gonna get mad, but I was like, you know what? No, this is a good stance. This is what I'm, and so breaking up all the cigarettes and throwing them in there, everything, and I flush it. And I'm like, all right. And people are messaging on my video like, should you consult a doctor before you do that? You should. I was like, no. I was like, if I'm gonna do it now, I'm gonna deal with it. If I'm healthy, if I'm around I think a Tony Robbins UPW is the first place. You got life coaches everywhere. You're good.
Right.
And you got doctors, psychologists, everybody there. You got Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
If anything were to happen, hey.
Right.
And then, so I do that, and I just get this overwhelming response of everybody. I met.
So you're
connections.
breaking up. I want you to move your phone. It's just kind of
Is that
breaking
better?
you up complete. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
Is
No,
that better?
you're still breaking. No.
No.
I can hear you, but your
the video is horrible.
Videos, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Trying to see. Is that better?
No, just the voice quality got better. If you're okay with not coming clear,
I feel bad.
I can hear you.
Hey, I have horrible service here. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm sorry I had to cut you. Yeah. So.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
So after
I have you
all
back.
that, oh, sweet. There we go. Now I'm alive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so after that day 3 of dumping out all those pills and the cigarettes and everything, I finally, getting all that overwhelming response, it shifted something in my alignment of my energy, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I saw, so on the 4th day after we walked over the hot coals, and I, it was funny because everybody's like, oh no, you just say cool moss to yourself and you won't feel a lot or anything. And I'm like, okay, all right, I heard this enough. And I go over it, and that was a lie. I was like, that burns. That burns really hot. And so, it was on hot cement in Florida at night. I was like, oh gosh. And
wow.
yeah, it was, but you forget your whole body of fear. And I know that was like the biggest thing, was letting go of fear. The day that I let go of my fear, of my abuse, of my neglect, of my addictions, of every single past experience, that was the day that everything fell into place. I quit the job at Hyundai, and I was at the top of the board selling cars. It was great. I was following my dad's purpose and everything, but then I realized, I was like, I do this. This isn't what I want to do. And so I quit the job. Serenity was one of the gals in the upper meeting area, or the upper office. And her and me talked, and we were like, okay, she was a law of attraction manifestation life coach for 16 years. I didn't know that until I brought up Tony Robbins, and she was like, oh yeah, it is. And so we got together. We created the Inspired Mind magazine. So we do personal empowerment seminars, right? And we're just creating all this before the pandemic hit, right? So we're getting pumped up. We're doing this. I made a company called Legendary Strategies at UPW when I left, to be able to find, first it was kind of going to be life coaching and strategic intervention life coaching, because I go through Robin Madane's training as my certification.
Okay.
And then I was like, people don't really understand life coaching yet here in Oregon. You know, there's some areas of life coaching, but people still think, you know, counselor and stuff. So I was like, what would be better? And then I started noticing, okay, maybe I'll go be an MD, you know, a doctor. And then I saw that was 12 years of my life and $170,000. And I was like, oh gosh, I was like, that's a long time. I'm still young, you know, I'm 26 now. I'm like, you know, and then I was like, okay, what else? And then I looked at massage therapy and I was like, okay, so that's a really good one that people need right now too. Saw that, but the one thing I only wanted to do was reflexology. Here in Oregon, reflexology is considered body work. So I was able to create a business with no more than $500, brand new, and now I make over $7,000 a month for the business, as well as paying for myself. I got off all welfare. I got off everything that I needed as help. And I think the day when you are able to like pay for your own bills, take care of your own children, put money away in the savings account, put money away in the business savings account, and also with a company that stands by healing people,
That's phenomenal.
That shifted everything. I became a Zumba instructor, a yogi instructor, a guided meditation, aromatherapist. I became all these different, and I practice now shamanic healing. And I found all these things, and I work with veterans from World War II, Vietnam. I work with people who are doctors, who are counselors, chiropractors. I work with mothers, so I'm a part of this thing called FAN, which is for families who are in need in the school district that we're in
Right.
Sisters, Oregon. And so I donate reflexology treatments under like candlelight and aromatherapy and craniosacral therapy for mothers that are struggling, you know, that have been homeless with their children before, who are struggling in real time now. And since I've struggled so much, that is like one of my big movements, is to help mothers know that throughout the domestic violence, throughout all the trauma, that you can still get through it, and that you can build an empire for your kids and for yourself to be able to take care of yourselves and others. Because, you know, as women, that's all we want to do is heal the world, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was, you know, in a short description, you know, and now, you know, I built this during the pandemic. So I built this at the time of everything kind of shutting down. And I was like, oh man, all right, you know, we had to stay in our house. Just my business license. I just got my, you know, my facility in Sisters, and I was like, you know. But then, you know, going through all the things and all the guidance, you know, and following all COVID-19 rule and regulations, of course, it still got to succeed. You know, I was making more money than I ever thought. You know, we had our first, which actually just got announced on KBB, on Dean Graziosi's site, on his Facebook page this last Monday, for our mastermind that we just held on January 16th. We had a total of 12 people and made $200 an hour. We made over $2,000. And when me and my business partner sat there and we realized that we could sell empowering skills, masterminds, you know, courses on mastermind.com. When we realized we could do all of this in a matter of one day, we made more than we have, you know, in a matter of 3 hours. Okay, not even a whole day, 3 hours. We realized that the sky's the limit. There is no way that you can't make your dreams come true with manifestation, with prayer, with focus, whatever your belief system is, which all of them are beautiful, right? And it's all on like what you focus on. Just like Tony says, you know, where your focus goes, energy flows. And it's so true. Like I've turned my life completely around from suicide to making over $7,000 a month. You know, and that's my comeback story, you know, from all of the trauma, getting out of that trauma body and into this most empowered, helpful community. I give out free treatments. I do free raffles for those in pay it forwards in my city, you know. And that's the thing, is like when I buy coffees, I do the pay it forward because it's fun, because energetically it always comes back. Not that I'm expecting anything to come back to me, but because in the universe, people want to see that. I want people to know that they can do that too,
Yeah.
and they can get back just the exact same energy in some way that is natural.
That is so beautiful. I'm so touched by your story. And you said it so beautifully, I have my own story as well, but like you said, you can either live your life as a victim and let the abuse or whatever it is navigate your whole life, how it's going to be, or you can step up for yourself and say, hey, this is not me, and I'm not going to define myself because of this, but I'm going to take from it what is good and make something greater out of it, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes, absolutely. that's
Yeah.
that's incredible. Your story is so touching. Oh my gosh, I'm so touched because for me, again, it was 2019 and it was November or December. And I don't know who Tony Robbins is. I don't even know this man exists on this earth. And I was in the deepest, darkest hole of my life. And all I remember was I was calling out to God. I was really calling out to my Allah. And I was saying, please, please, I
Mm.
need somebody to help me. I'm going crazy. Like I was losing hope in myself. And I had two kids to take care of. And I just thought that nobody could understand me at an emotional level. I had a lot of love and care and affection around me, but I just thought I was losing myself. And out of nowhere, believe me, nowhere, this video pops up on my YouTube, and I'm sitting on my prayer mat, and I just pick up my phone and I open YouTube, and this is video, and I'm like, what is this inspirational, motivational, something? I think it was motivational video, and I clicked on it, and it was either 5 minutes or 7 minutes of Tony Robbins saying something. That was it, 5 or 7 minutes. And the impact he had was the next day I woke up, I came out of the room, I was a different person. And I was talking to my father, like, okay, I can just go conquer the world. And he's like, are you crazy? And I was like, oh my goodness, where has this man been? I mean, like, where the hell was he? So it is remarkable. I've not done his still waiting for that to happen to go to one of his seminars, but I have gotten all his books. I have not missed one YouTube video, and I love to connect with people who have transformed through his program, and the amount of impact he's had is massive. And for everyone who's listening right now, guys, if you don't know about him, do check it out. It's Tony Robbins. He is phenomenal. Your life is never ever going to be the same, without a doubt. After you see his video, anything, just go on YouTube, see anything. It just changes. It just transforms you. He just really. It's like when he's talking, it's like he's talking to you only. It's not like he's talking to a million people. It's like you're like, oh, he gets me. Yes, yes, this is me.
Yeah.
And that really touched me. And that is what I want to do for people myself. I really want to help them, and especially women who are suffering around the world, especially at my side of the world. I really want them to know that this is not life. You are not defined by your abuse, and you can stand up for yourself, and it's okay to walk away from a marriage. It's okay to be single. It's okay to be a single
Hmm.
mom. You
Hmm.
got this. You can do this, guys. I always say that if I could do that, anybody could do it.
Yes, I agree 100%, and I think it's people who have suffered before, and there's no I suffered more than you or you suffered more than me. Suffering is suffering, and when
Yeah.
we right and when we go and we look at it and we
Mm,
go, you know what, we can come together and help those who to end suffering, because
yes.
like, as when I was taken over by addiction, somebody can be like, oh, and try to help me and stuff. And like, I asked them, like, have you ever been through this? And they go, no, you just lost all rapport with me. I don't think that I'm going to,
Mm,
but this is the
mm,
thing is people who have
mm.
suffered, those who are suffering in real time, they look at you and go, what did you do? Well, what were your strategies? Like, and the best way to do it is by
That
going to those because proximity is power, right? And so we're able to touch
exactly.
more and be so personal.
Mm,
And that personal relationship, as a business owner, who's a one man show for my business, That's what my clients want. That's what the community wants. They want the business owner, like how Tony is so, like how you said it, he doesn't speak to a million people. Feels like he speaks to just you. And that's the thing is a lot of businesses, as a business owner, if anybody on here is a business owner, bring that personal touch. They want to know about you. It's great when you have your,
Yeah.
your advocates, or you have your team.
Excuse
But
me.
what a business owner really should do is be out there and be like, hey, this is my story. This is why I built this. How can I help you build? Because we're all
Mm.
a part of a huge team around this globe. We're all sisters and
Right.
brothers. And that's the thing is we come together. And that was one thing that I got the biggest takeaway at UPW is 13,000 other people, 4 countries. We all meditated together. We were rubbing each other's backs. And going from this like suicidal, depressive state, like a couple days before
Right.
that, and, and then I'm massaging, back and forth, like, and high fiving, and the funny thing is this pandemic happened, right? But I look
Yeah.
at it and like I got a little like there's this thing that you get a little sick because you're around so many people.
Mm.
But it wasn't
Mm.
it wasn't like, I mean, think about it, 13,000 people, like one of us should have, you know, we all should have gotten pretty sick at that point, but we all didn't
Right.
because of the empowerment and the health and the excitement. I mean, our
Mm.
bodies were
Mm.
alive. And that's the
Mm.
thing is when we all come together and we are able to share and hold each other and look in each other's eyes and do the Reiki, channeling of energy together. That's the thing is like we need to come together again. And this is so beautiful that we have virtual because we're able to come together no matter where we are in the world. And that's the
Where we
beauty.
are.
That's
Yes,
that's the
yes.
gift. It's a huge gift.
That is the yes, and I know Tony said that too, but that's one of the things that resonates with me so much is that my life was channeled through fear. I was fearful that if I take this step, what will people think of me? If I do that, what will happen? So I was just my anxiety and my depression and my panic attack was coming because of my fear. And when I stepped up, it was my faith took over, and it showed me, wow, that I could overcome anything if I just hold on to my faith. I don't need anything else. It's just the way you see things. Everything changes from, I mean, to this, to that, and it's just amazing.
Beautiful. It's truly beautiful.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. Thank you so much for coming forward and sharing your story. I am truly touched with the amount of pain you went through being a kid, the way you transformed yourself, the way you didn't give up on you. And I thank your brother for giving you that opportunity right when you needed it
Oh
and
yes.
saved you.
Yes, he
Right?
did. He really did. I tell him every day, whenever I get on in front of, Dean Graziosi's people and everything, and I always say, if it wasn't for my brother giving me that helping hand, and, we do have to pay for things, to be able to hold the value of things. But the one thing that I realize is if you just give that one person that little hand, that little bit of grace, just a little bit of effort, because those tickets aren't cheap. You know,
Mm,
it can completely
yeah.
change somebody's life in less than a year. 100%.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Guys, I hope you were inspired as much as I was. I am thoroughly touched by her story. And like you heard all of it, guys, you can take your pain and live like a victim all your life, or you can take that pain and transform yourself and serve so many people. I think that every day I get up and I want to go out and reach out to people and see anybody in any way I can help and transform. It is just so empowering, and it gives you a purpose to live, to thrive, and it gives others around you so much of value. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for coming forward, sharing your story. And I wish you all the best. Guys, I will tag her like always. I did tag her before. I will tag her again. Connect with her. Check out her work. She's phenomenal. I'm going to check. I'm connected with you as well. Thank you so much. Sending you lots of love. Take care of yourself. Everyone,
Yes.
take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Bye.